Hey guys, I'm Mark,
I'm Alen.
and welcome to another episode of The Next Man Up. Well, my friend, welcome back for another episode. You ready to do this again?
Yeah, man. Welcome, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, this is it's cool. It's a cool journey that we're on, and excited that you're along for the ride with me.
Yeah, glad to be on the ride, my friend. This is going to be good. Welcome to everyone listening.
Yeah, thank you, listeners, for joining us once again. Today we wanted to just tackle this idea of initiation.
Yeah.
We've been hinting at it up to this point, and figured maybe we ought to spend a few minutes just talking about our understanding of initiation, why we think it's relevant, what's happened in our Western states culture, where this idea of initiation has gone, and then just see where this conversation goes as we explore this idea. I remember when I first started thinking about initiation way back in my mid-20s, realizing that we don't have something in the States that is the clear-cut path or process to manhood. It just doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't. I don't, like, for me personally, I didn't have one. I don't remember being on something like that. And as I look around, you can kind of like have some things that have become some staples, maybe.
Sure, yeah, maybe like a driver's license.
Yeah, driver's
right?
license, or I took a girl on a date, like that. You know what I'm saying? I got my first car, not necessarily even bought it. You just got it, you know what I mean? Like, I can see some staples, but are those really what makes a man? You know what I'm saying? Is that really the start, or you're on your way to becoming a man? I don't think so. You know?
And even the messages that are sent by some of these cultural milestones are confusing. You know, you can drive a car at 16. Yeah. You can't buy alcohol until you're 21, but you can vote at 18.
And go into service at 18.
Exactly. You can father a child as soon as you're physically able. Yeah. Right? Yeah, but you can't rent a car until you're 25. Yeah. So it's just, there's no consistent message as to when, if you want to put it chronologically, when a boy becomes a man.
No, not at all. And that, look, the less we have to build on, like, the shakier our present and future is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I tell me to run a 440, and when I was younger, sure, I'll do that. But then, okay, each time you do it, I'm gonna put a different ground setting underneath you. So this time you're gonna run in an incline, like with rocks and pine trees, and oh wait, no, this time you're running on air. It's just like,
keep changing the game.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like. The game keeps changing. Yeah, there's no set thing for me. There's no set thing for me as a father to have my son run on. And that's very challenging.
The message, we both come at this from a biblical worldview, from the perspective of following Jesus. But when you look at the cultural message, some of the messages about when you become a man can be very destructive, very harmful to self and to others. You talked about taking a girl on a date. What about the first time you have sex with a girl, or I think about the hazing process of making it into a fraternity and what's involved there. How many stories do we hear every year about boys, young men that have passed out or have died because they're trying to complete some process that's ultimately destructive?
Yeah, like from those to, and there are some that would believe, like, what's the difference between a gang or fraternity? It's like maybe money. It's like, but like even like gang initiations and such, it's a sense of you're becoming something. But to be in this gang, to be a part of this crew, like, you have to go through a process. Maybe you gotta steal. Maybe you gotta hurt somebody, or worse, kill somebody. Maybe you yourself have to be harmed. Dude, I don't see how that's like positive, right? And so this message of you gotta be like tough. You gotta be like hard. No, that's not necessarily true. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily true. And it could end up, like, for me personally, like, I realized I'm not hard. I'm not a tough guy. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, and like, not in the sense that the world paints. I used to think that I had to be, so I got into fights all the time, and I was always defiant and rebellious and whatnot. And like, there came a point where I realized I don't even like the person in the mirror. I don't know who this ain't who I am at the core, and I want to be something different. Like, but because I felt that was what a man was,
to give that up,
that's a message that I was getting like hit with, and what I was catching myself and put to work. Man, dude, destructive.
Yeah, to give up that idea, I'll use the word masculinity, to give up that idea, that definition of being tough and strong and rough as the ideal masculine way, to give that up is like to say, well, am I really a man? Do I have what it takes?
You get your man card pulled.
That's right.
That's right. And I mean, like, think ideas of like all right, let's take it away from this violent like side that I was speaking of, but let's just take it as something as simple as, like, you can't be scared.
Yeah.
You can't fear.
Yeah.
From something simple as you don't want to jump this jump with your bike. Oh, you a scaredy cat. Like, oh no, I don't want everybody to think, nah, man, I'm a man. Like, you know?
Right.
And you put yourself in danger in situations, so you put other people in danger, or you create an atmosphere of like of some kind of damage because you don't want to be seen as one who fears. But guess what? Like, everyone fears. Everyone has fears, even a man. But that's not the message that we're taught.
It's not, and because there.
I know I'm overgeneralizing. I'm sorry. I know I'm overgeneralizing, but there is a sense of it.
Yeah. Because there is no consistent process of going from boy to men, or boy to man, and because in that absence, culturally, we've developed lots of different messages, lots of different quote-unquote ways to progress into manhood. What we're left with is just confusion. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I think you're really tapping into is this confusion about whether it's emotion or fear or not being big and bulky or have lots of tattoos or whatever. It just taps into this idea of, if we don't have that, and by that I'm picturing like the Gillette razor commercial or the Budweiser commercials, where you've got these sanitized, idealized, unrealistic pictures of man. If we don't have that, then we're less than. And there is a real fear in this idea of being less than. It makes me think of a couple of quotes that speak to this idea. One's from a book by Nate Pyle called Man Enough. And he says, men live in fear of being seen as not men. We fear being likened to a woman. We fear being effeminate, limp-wristed. We fear being seen as someone who doesn't respond like a man. And when I first read that quote, it reminded me of this next one from Brené Brown in her book, Daring Greatly, where she says, basically, men live under the pressure of the unrelenting message, do not be perceived as weak. Mm. Like, I don't know about you, but that really speaks to me. I was the boy on the bike that didn't complete the jump because I was afraid. I was the boy in the weight room that was the stick figure as all these men, boys, right? That had facial hair and beards and chest. Like, I was that kid. Yeah. And what I concluded incorrectly was that maybe I'm not enough.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like this ideal. Maybe I'm not enough. And I've overcome that, and it wasn't this debilitating thing for me, but it created doubts.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, it created doubts and it created wonder, and probably part of my story to why we're talking about initiation, so that we can be clear on what it does mean to be a man, and the difference between the unrealistic commercialized ideal used for selling razors and beer and shampoos and all kinds of other products versus the reality, of what does it look like? What does it mean to really be a man? And it's way more than just accomplishments and appearance. It's more what's on the inside, the character, the essence, than it is what's on the outside.
And thank God for that. Listen, man, I am 40 years old and I shave about twice a month. Like, man, dude, talk about doubt, man. I remember being in high school and hit ninth grade, and my friends, they got the long sideburns now, and they kind of got that GQ, little skinny sideburns down the beard and little skinny mustache. And, bro, I had one hair growing out for a whole year. It was bad, man. My brothers are 6 foot something. They're all stand tall.
And you're not.
And I am not. Here's this 5'4" little Haitian guy.
Right.
It's but we're taught, like you said, your appearance, what you could do, what you bring to the table, really kind of lays out if you're a man or not, man. And look, I'm a man.
Yes.
I know I'm a man.
And it's not because we only shave.
Yeah, it's like,
right.
If that was the case, then okay, I'm not a man, but I'm so glad that that's not the case.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But it took me a long time to really understand that and to learn that, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's why we're talking about initiation, because unless you've been given some idea of what it really means to be a man,
you can't. How can you start?
How can you start? And how do you know when you have, quote unquote, arrived?
Yeah.
And not arrived from the standpoint of you've mastered everything, but you understand the requirements.
You got all these crazy stories. I remember this one story you tell me about these elephants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, when I think about initiation, I think about this story of the elephants, and whatnot. So
somewhere in Africa, I don't remember the exact location, there was this herd of elephants. And through the course of death and poaching, the male elephants had been harvested or eliminated from this herd. So the adult males, and elephants live for a long time, right? The adult males were gone, or dwindled in such a way that there weren't really enough to show the young and up-and-coming male elephants how to live like a male.
Yeah.
So as people were observing behavior, they noticed these younger male elephants just doing all this kind of crazy behavior.
Yeah.
They were running over trees, they were stomping on cars, they were sparring with each other. They just were behaving in an unusual way.
Yeah.
And what the observers, what the researchers realized is that these young bull elephants were going through an extended phase of puberty. There was indications just through secretions that they were in puberty, which normally in a healthy tribe or a healthy herd of elephants would only take a handful of days. This went on for days and days and weeks, and became very destructive to those elephants and to the environment around them. And the researchers were able to conclude these young elephants don't know what it's supposed to be like to behave as an adult elephant, a fully grown bull elephant. And so they brought in some other adult male elephants, introduced them into the tribe, and almost instantly the behavior of these young bulls changed, because they realized, that's not the way I'm supposed to act.
Yeah.
This is the way I'm supposed to act. And so you've got that's just one of many examples in the animal kingdom of how we're wired to learn from our elders, to learn from our adults what it's like to be, in this case, an adult elephant. Yeah. And without that, things run amok. Yes. It just becomes craziness.
And I don't know. I just when I think about that story and I go, man, it's an interesting picture of our culture today. It can be.
Yeah.
I know everyone thinks differently, and some of us think we're doing great and whatever. But when it comes to our kids, like, this is why this is so important. I'm not saying they're going to become elephants and stomping around and stuff, but in another breath, it's like, yeah, they can. Like, I didn't have anyone leading me in that sense, and man, I was all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until someone began to show me the way. You know what I'm saying? Just as a person. I think about like what happens. I'm not just talking about fatherlessness. I'm just like, I think that we can have fathers present, but yet they're absent.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so what I'm talking about is not like just fatherlessness, but it's that also. But it's a sense of like, what if we as fathers don't begin to initiate our sons into becoming a man? What will happen? And the picture of the elephant story to me is what will happen. Because they're not shown the way, they don't know how, they don't know what, they don't know when.
Right.
They're gonna be all over the place. And our society, our culture, them personally, their future, their present now, it ends up like running amok.
There's an African proverb that says if we don't initiate our sons into manhood, they'll burn the village down.
Yeah.
And like when you look around, is that figuratively not what's happening in the States?
Yeah.
And in some cases, literally, it may not be fire, but the destructive element of burning the village down is what's happening in many of our communities.
Yeah. And that's not what we want,
No.
And so there's a blessing in initiation. It's a blessing in going, hey, no. This is the path. This is the path you want to take. There's something good about that, So,
one of the examples that I often come back to when I think about initiation, and initiation done well and done right, is the Boy Scouts. I was never a Boy Scout myself, but I know that there is the process from Cub Scout to Boy Scout, and then the whole Boy Scout process is accumulating knowledge and wisdom and skills and character qualities, and at some point, if you pursue that long enough, you get to the point where you are able to become an Eagle Scout, which is it's a really, really cool ceremony, and it's an honor for these boys to make it. There's a panel, there's an interview process, there's a project that they have to complete. It takes effort. It takes a while. It takes some requirements, some intention. But once they're there, they know that they've arrived. Yeah. They will never go back, and they know what's expected of them once they get there. That's the element of initiation done right that I think we're about here. It is not just boys passing a test or accomplishing something, but when that process is laid out in a way that speaks to both the father and the son, it includes how to live when you get there. So that they're launched and then they know what to do.
Yeah. And isn't that what we're aiming for? You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. That's it. As you were talking, I was thinking about martial arts, and it's
that's
to me,
another example.
That would be an example. This idea of you come in just completely green, not knowing a thing, and you advance from one belt to the next, and it's not just like you said, not just accomplishments, but you're gaining something. Like for me, like it helped center me, man. Like it helped me realize that I'm I'm not completely helpless.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But it helped me learn respect, and this idea of respecting the people around you. You're not just this angry machine, but you can respect those around you and give them respect as they show you respect, and that you are somebody. You know what I mean? It was like all these things wrapped around it, man. And each belt, like I got to, you're right, man. It was like I got there with the idea of I know how to live in this space that I'm in right now.
Yes.
Because I've trained all this time.
Yeah, you know what it's like to be there.
You know, and so when I did competitions, when, you know what I mean, whatever, like there was a sense of I got this. And that's what we want. I want that for my boy. You know what I mean? And fathers, I think we can all say that we want this for our sons, this idea of when they get to that point and we say you're a man now, like they can go, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could do this.
Yeah.
Because this is what I've trained for.
Yeah. You know, there's a guy that was at our last event who is an engaged father. He wants the best for his boys. His boys are early to mid-teens. And, you know, in listening to him talk about his story, he is someone that is present. Mm-hmm. He is engaged. He's the coach. He's the chauffeur.
Yeah.
He's teaching them life skills and qualities. But he is so excited about this idea of a rite of passage and initiation, because what he said is it ties everything together.
Yeah.
It becomes the why for all these things that he's been doing in the lives of his boys. And for his boys to participate and see that, it's like the light bulb went off. Oh, this is what Dad wants for me. This is the why.
Yeah.
It's cool to listen to him tell his story about the missing link that this really presented for him and how he's being a dad.
Dude, we should get him on here.
You know what? I know him, and we might be able to do that.
You know, like we might get that, world. We might get that to happen. Because I think that's a cool story. I mean, like I said, every dad's at a different place.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're absent or you're present but absent, whether you're completely present and you're just trying to figure out how to work all this together. It doesn't matter who you are, man. We're all imperfect. We're all trying to figure it out. And here's a way to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, we're in this conversation, we're in this journey, we're here to help.
Yeah.
And so, you know, as you guys are listening, if there's questions or feedback, we'd love that. We'd love to hear. And if there's topics that you're interested in talking about, sure, you know, just make a suggestion and we can tee those up, because we want this to be beneficial and a way to really equip you and encourage you to lean in further, whether you're just starting,
sure,
or you're on the cusp of really initiating this yourself with your sons. It's never too late to start, to lean in and to invest in your boys. They will be better off for it, for sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for listening with us, Alen. Thanks for doing this. Is another good one.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next time. Hey listeners, thanks for journeying with us on this Next Man Up podcast. You know, we would love to hear from you. Maybe you have a question or an idea, perhaps a topic for us to consider. If that's you and you want to reach out to us, you can get us at feedback@thenextmanup.com. That's feedback@thenextmanup.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll see you later.